Here we are, another week, another pair of news stories coming out. Everyone is talking about them. Everything you turn on, they're all focused on the same two stories. And once again, there's a whole lot they don't say. So here's another broadcast about what they don't say. They're kind of making this easy for me. The big stories, we got the activist judges. Everyone knows about this. There's 677 of them, and when the Democrats go and find the right one, they decide that they're stronger than the president. You know, district court judges are not mentioned in the Constitution. All they talk about is inferior courts. They don't talk about the structure of it, the fact that they're districts, or anything like that. Congress established them. Congress can discipline them, period. That's not happening. That will be an entire different episode. The other thing is this Tesla terrorism. These people are crazy. And everything that you hear in our media about it, they talk about it like it's an American problem, like it's a Democrat problem. You would think that there was nothing but a bunch of Democrats going out there doing this, right? It's all coming from Democrats. Well, then explain to me why it's happening in Europe too. Last time I checked, the Democrat Party is not a European party. They're not in France. They're not in Germany. They're not in Ireland. They're not in London, the UK. So why is this a Democrat problem like our media keeps telling us? Once again, they're not doing their jobs. Once again, the story is in what they don't say. It is no coincidence that all of this is happening throughout the Western world all at the same time. That's not the only thing that's going on in the Western world all at the same time. The whole thing with the trans debate, the whole thing with the protests in support of, they say it's Palestinians, it's not, it's in support of the Hamas terrorists. The people that caused all the pain, suffering, and resultant damage in Gaza, that's what it is. That's why they're focused on that. It's because they're supporting the terrorists that Israel has taken out by the tens of thousands. So how come it's all happening in Europe and it's all happening here across the country and a few places in Canada? How come it's all happening in the Western world? It's not happening in Brazil. You see anybody down in South America torching Tesla dealerships? How about Africa? Anything happening in Africa? No. Well, tell me how many Democrat field offices we've got in Europe. We don't. So how come our media people on the right and on the left are all acting like it's a Democrat thing here in America? The Democrat machine here in America is a bunch of useful idiots of the moment, okay? I know a lot of Democrats who aren't bad people, and they don't understand this party anymore. Now, when you grow up a lifetime Democrat, especially the older you get, the more loyal people tend to be to their party. Whatever party you decide on as you come into adulthood, not childhood, but as you come into adulthood. You know, like people can grow up and really not be paying any attention, but as you grow older, as you push towards your 30s, as you're building a family, as you're getting stable in a career somewhere, that's when really most political choices are made. That's when people change, unless you get indoctrinated into something in college. But as people reach adulthood, they get into a party. 30 years later, you're not going to get them out of that. It doesn't happen very often at all. So now we've got a bunch of old Democrats that hate what the Democrat Party's become, but there's no way they're going to go to the Republican Party because they've hated it their whole lives. You can't sit unhappy in the Democrat Party and look over the Republican Party with them backstabbing and eating each other for decades and say, yeah, I want to join that. Look at them. They eat each other. Oh, man, those guys, they just cannibalize each other. Yeah, sign me up. That doesn't happen. What happens is they drop out. They don't vote. They don't participate. They get disillusioned with the system. That's what this is really all about. Is making people disillusioned with the system, and it's here and it's in Europe. That sort of activism. And the reason is because that is where the puppet masters are. Now, like when Obama was in, we all knew that he wasn't running things. Hell, the guy slept in until 9 o'clock in the morning, played basketball and video games till 1 or 2 in the morning. This is well documented. We knew he wasn't running things. Everyone talked about, he's a puppet, he's a puppet. The guy had never run an ice cream stand. How many times did we hear that? But you know, now, because of what media tells people to think, which is the real problem, people listen to them. But people think that there are actually people that think that Obama's the one pulling the strings behind this. Like somehow, all of a sudden, he became the brainiac Lex Luthor, master overlord of the Democrat universe, and he's pulling the strings for everything. Suddenly, he's not that stupid puppet getting led by Soros anymore, which is another thing. People say, oh, it's Soros, it's Soros. Man, I tell you what, I've argued with people over the years just like, no, we know Soros is bad. Yes, Soros puts some money into things. Yes, Soros makes sure that he has a political operation in a lot of countries at the soul of government. Yes, that's all fact. But he's not the only one. He's not even the biggest one. He's the one that gets all the attention. It started with Glenn Beck here in America. He did a service by starting to expose Soros. A lot of other people caught on. Soros is an international criminal. There are countries that want this guy. There are countries that would kill this guy. They can't get a hold of him. But he's left free to operate in America. And yes, he causes a lot of problems. He's not the biggest one. He's not the only one. If you really want to know what's going on, look up the WEF. These are the people behind that Davos conference. Davos is in Switzerland, D-A-V-O-S. If you're not familiar with it, you need to look it up. There's a lot of international power brokers behind a lot of international money, and these people are dirty. If you know anything about history, if you look at how the Catholic Church operated back in the medieval times when it was really, really a political power, the world was run by a bunch of kingdoms, right? And everyone thought the kings were running things. But behind that, you had this global power out of the Vatican that was running everything because they would get the kings on board because the countries that adopted this religion, and that gave, because the people were devout Catholics and took orders from the Pope, the kings had to please the Pope or the people would rise up. They wouldn't accept a pagan king, right? So you had this shadow power in the background that was really running things. Well, now we've got another one, except it's not so obvious because they don't issue orders from the high mount, right? Now they're a lot more sneaky, a lot more insidious, a lot more nefarious, but they're there. And how they go through the process of operating their machine is through the NGOs. Now, if you go and look up the Davos conference, look up Davos 2025. It'll take you to the WEF conference. Scroll down and look at who the members were that attended. You've got leaders from all kinds of countries all over the globe. I think there's 160 different countries that had some type of leadership there. Some of them are there because they're evil. Some of them are there because they know that's where the evil is. They want to keep an eye on this shit. This has really been big with John Kerry, for one, the Bush family. They're big fans of it. The Clintons were in on it. This is where they all come together. You talk about the Uniparty, this is where they all show up. It's not the only one, but it's the main one. If you want to see who all these people are that are behind all this shit, it is not just the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is a tool that is used by these people. Over the years, they have taken it over from the inside. They were insidious. It's just the same way the Democrat Party got into our universities, our entertainment system, our science world, which they got into through the university. It's the same way the Democrats infiltrated all these places. The media, you know, the news, they got into the newspapers. They got into the schools. They got into the colleges. Okay, that's the same thing that these people from the World Economic Forum, these people that are on the list of attendees, go through and look at it. It's Greenpeace. It's International Education Associations. It's a huge list of players that will surprise you. Everyone should do that. Look it up. Attendees for the WEF at Davos 2025. That was back in January, 14th through the 17th, I believe. And these are the people that are insanely wealthy. They're partnered with the other people who are insanely wealthy. That's why they hate Musk. The richest guy in the world is not on board with these people. Do you know what that takes away from them? They need Musk. They wanted Musk. He used to be a Democrat. They thought they had him in their camp. He broke out. He's not going to have anything to do with it. Because he knows that world. He knows those people. He's seen it from the inside. He knows what they are. And there's going to be another episode about that, because there is a reason that he decided to put his businesses on the back burner. He admits he's having a hard time running them right now. But he didn't just do this just because he's patriotic and wants to save America. He knows America has to be saved if the world's going to be saved, and he knows the world itself is in danger. And we're not just talking about losing some rights and freedoms. We are talking about World War III. We're talking about collapse of the world economic system. These people have spent a long time working toward their goals. They don't give a damn about borders. They don't give a damn about governments. They don't give a damn about your rights. They want power. These people are weird. They think that way. Can you imagine waking up in the morning and thinking, my God, I've got to be more powerful. What can I do? What can I do? I've got to be more powerful. Look what I could do if I was powerful. I want power. Who the hell thinks like that? These people do. And they get a little taste of it, they get worse. It's like when you got a flock of chickens and one of them starts pecking on a wing, gets a little blood going on another one. You know, you got to kill that chicken, because that's power. That chicken, when they get the taste of blood, they're ruined, they're gone, they're done. You got to kill them, because that's what they do. They go for the blood. That's what happens with these people with a certain type of personality. When they get real power, it just corrupts them. You've heard the old saying, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That is centuries old. It's well known. Back in the beginning of all this democratic government stuff, Plato wrote extensively about. Plato was a philosopher that really saw democracy develop as a type of government when the Greeks were doing a lot of deep thinking about it. Plato and Aristotle, they were both great thinkers of the time. Long story short, about 400 years before Christ, Socrates was around. Everyone's heard of the guy. A lot of people don't know about him. And they were two students of his. Plato focused on tyranny. Sometime you're bored, you want to know about tyranny and how long ago it began, just go back to Plato and look how well he had it thought out back then. It was complex, and the people were just the same as they are now. The same kind of tyranny, pulling the same kind of bullshit in governments as they're doing today. And he wrote about it extensively 2,400 years ago. And you heard the old saying, people that forget history are condemned to repeat it. Wasn't that a fact? And what's even worse is people don't learn the history in the first place, which is why it was so important to them to take over our education system. So how does all that become burn the Teslas? It's because the Democrats built such a beautiful machine. I tell you what, I've talked about it before. The old hippies that used to tie themselves or chain themselves to the fences outside colleges during the Vietnam War protests because they were afraid if they got drafted, they were going to have to go. They're the ones that wound up in charge. They never left the universities. Hell, people they finish a college degree and they go to work as a professor in the universities. It's like, maybe you ought to go out and get a little life experience in the real world before you go to teaching new people. But that's what happens, and it's worked. So now these Democrats have this machine that's a beautifully oiled machine for all the wrong reasons, and it's coast to coast. We got around 3,450 counties or county level entities in this country, okay? They've got offices in every one, just like the Republicans do, except the Democrat offices are busy. Long time ago, they started funding foundations, urban works programs. That started with civil rights back in the 60s. People just went to sleep. And, it's not even the people were asleep. Good people don't think this way. They don't look down the street and see that brick building with the new sign on it. It says Urban Dreams. It's like, oh, they want to help the downtrodden. That's good. And they never look at what they're doing. But what they're doing is they're in there. Sure, they'll pass out a little money around the neighborhood, but they give huge salaries to all the people involved, and they recruit. And then when they get those people recruited, they get a guy off the street, and he comes in there, hey, we're going to help you out. All right, here's a $500 check to help with your power bill. Say, what do you think about this ecology thing? Oh, yeah, man, I don't like our ecology being ruined. Well, hey, let me talk to you about that. You know what these Republicans are doing? Yeah, they want to poison that river. Hey, you live by that river. They want to poison that. You believe that? You know all them people, you got anybody in your neighborhood with cancer? Yeah, they got that cancer because of what the Republicans did in that river. If you care about your kids, hey, why don't you come down? We're going to have a little meeting Saturday. Come on down. We got pizza, pop. It'll be a good time. And, you just hear a couple people and leave. Before you know it, that works. They've got those people in there, and those people are passing out brochures. They get a phone call. It goes out to all of them. They get mad about something, okay, like the Tesla thing. That goes out to all of these different areas, and they tell them, hey, you get the bulletin. Tesla's doing this, and this. People are outraged. Outraged, I say. They're burning down Tesla, and you make sure everybody knows that this is happening. That there's violent protests because Musk is stealing their information. He's taking money away from them. He's going to make sure that their Social Security gets robbed. He's destroying the schools. Your kids are screwed. You're screwed. The whole world is going to end because of Musk. And he's got his Teslas out there making money. And you're just letting it happen when that Tesla is sitting right down the street and you're not doing a damn thing about it. When there's a Tesla dealer over there, you got spray paint in your house and you're not doing a fucking thing about it. It's your duty. And off they go. And that's what happens. But all the organization, all the focus, all the marching orders, all the financing comes from these international organizations. That's why it's focused on the Western nations. That's why it's America, Canada, the UK, France, hell, they're having trouble in Austria now. It's all the countries that have any kind of power. Now, Poland's doing it. Poland is probably doing the best job of all the countries in Europe, which is funny because after World War II, everyone knows about the Polak jokes, right? You know, Germany just cruised through there at high speed and took them, and that led to about 30 years of good jokes. And now they're the ones holding the line. But it's not Democrats. These aren't liberals doing this. It's progressive, globalist socialists. They want socialism. They are taught that working, earning according to how you perform is wrong. Owning your own stuff and succeeding means that you stole it from someone else. It's the mindset of socialists. And it's being taught. And the teaching is funded by these people in these international organizations that have the same thing being taught over in Europe. It's an attack. People are mad because the Western world became so powerful and too much wealth is concentrated, is spread out among the people instead of concentrated in the hands of a few. We all know these big companies buy up the little ones and they buy them up. I mean, look at Amazon. You know how many retailers are out of business today? How many empty stores are there in your town where people just buy the same stuff from Amazon, get it dropped off in a day or two? Your store's gone, and it's the big ones swallow the little ones. That's just the nature of business. I don't care if it's capitalism or communism or socialism. All of them wind up in the same point at different speeds. Because at some point, the big guys own everything and the little guys don't. That's why America got strong in the first place, was because we were new. We didn't have the big guys that owned everything. All the little guys were able to go out and start something until the big guys started buying them all up, shutting them all down. So now these people are sitting there, these international wealthy organizations, wealthy people that want more power, and the only way to really secure it, they've got to shut down the power and the wealth of the West, of Europe, of America, of Canada even, although they seem to be too stupid to realize it right now. But that's what happened. Of course, half of America is too. You know, we think that Trump's just killing it, that he's cooking it, and he's doing a hell of a job. But don't forget, he only won by a couple of percentage points. It made it a mandate because of how many states it was, but the percentages were still close. Right now, about 45% are still against him, even though very few approve of the Democrats. I think that's down to what, 25, 30% actually approve of what the Democrats are doing. But there's still 45% that don't approve of Trump. They're caught in the middle. It's like, damn, I don't like anything right now, and there's nowhere to go. Democrats are crazy. Trump's going to give it all to his rich friends. I mean, those people they're hanging out there in the middle. Their asses swinging in the breeze. They don't have a home. But we've got to look at the problem and stop saying it's a Democrat problem. This is a global assault on Western civilization. They hate the Christian. They hate the nuclear family with mom, dad, and a couple of kids. They hate that. That's what they're taking apart. That's why they want trannies and everything. That's why they want the lesbians and gays and all that, all these other alternative lifestyle family to be favored and be prominent, is because they're anti-normal family. Because the nuclear family with mom and dad raising the kids, raising responsible kids who go on to be successful capitalists, that's what they're trying to beat, because that's what, and the freedoms that create that are what creates the wealth and liberties for the individuals. That's how it's all vetted and protected. That's what they have to destroy if they're going to have socialism replace it. This is a war against the very values of the West. It's a war against the Christian roots. That's why they favor the Islamic, because not because the Islamic nature and processes has ever been so good for anybody. It's not because they're better. It's because they challenge Christendom. It's because they challenge Christian principles. They have no problem with taking kids out and teaching them to kill. That's not Christian. That's Muslim, but they support that. The global powers that want the destruction of the West are using them to do it. And they're a willing sword. They're using the most radical, weakest minds of the Democrat Party to do it. It's not the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party's in a shambles, and it's still running full bore to create the kind of problems we've got right now. Now, how the hell is a party that's fallen apart with no leadership, how are they able to organize lunatics for vandalism, fires, in 2 different continents at the same time, while they run the social upheaval of the Palestinian protest, while they run the social upheaval of the gay and lesbian and letter alphabet LGBTQ plus 3, 4, 100, whatever they are. If the Democrat Party is running all this and they're in a shambles, then how come all of these different organizations are doing so well? They're having success with this Tesla business. The cities where this is happening, the cities where these Tesla dealerships are, the cities and states, they've got to step up. You can't look at Team Trump to fix everything. We've got Republicans in all these different states. We've got Republicans in all these cities. Where the hell are they in protecting these Tesla dealerships? Why don't we hear anything from them? Just what the hell are they doing to stop what they call the Democrats, these globalists? It's the global mafia. It's an organized crime network. I tell you what, they make the Italian mafia, they make them look like amateurs because these people, hell, they ran the U.S. for 4 years. They had the most powerful armies on the friggin' planet. That makes the mafia look like amateurs. They had a president in the White House for 4 years, and everyone knew the guy was a slobber and idiot that talked to bunnies and wandered off trying to shake hands with people that weren't even there. America let that happen. The Republicans let that happen. I'll never forgive them for that. And here we are. The Democrat Party is in meltdown, and the principles that they're using to destroy this country are growing in power. Tell me how that happens at the same time. How do they melt down while their agenda grows, becomes more successful? It's because it's not the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party machine is being used. The marching orders is coming from the globalists. It's going to Europe. It's coming to here. It's the globalists. They got different parties, different organizations they use to spread the word in Europe. They're sitting up there at the top with the little marionettes, and our media is saying, well, what are we going to do about these Democrats? These Democrats are stupid. We got to vote the rest of them out. No, dipshits. You people in media better wake your asses up and ask yourself why it's happening everywhere in the West. How the hell the Democrats are doing it when the Democrats can't even, they've started to eat each other like a bunch of damn Republicans. They don't even have any leaders. They threw Pelosi away. Hillary got thrown away a long time ago. They threw Pelosi away. There's been a changing of the guard. We got these young nutcases. We got Ilhan Omar in there. She's a radical. Okay, the Republicans won't even go after her. She should be tossed out of Congress for the things that she said in support of enemies. Tlaib, the same thing. These people swear an oath of office, and the Republicans refuse to put teeth in that oath of office. When they're violating the principles of the Constitution and promoting enemies of the country, there is no excuse that validates the Republicans refusing to call for these people to be removed from Congress. So how deep are these money people into the Republican Party? That's going to be a subject for another, because, like I say, there's officials from both parties that wind up partying together at Davos. They might fight here, but they're partying in Davos. When Pelosi was over in Europe and fell down those stairs and broke her hip, when no one even knew she was out of the country until she got hurt, half the people that were with her were Republicans from Congress. They were all on a taxpayer-funded couple-day vacation just to go over for some pissant little meeting. Meanwhile, they're staying at five-star European hotels with motorcades and everything. It's Republicans and Democrats partying together, getting their pictures taken together, laughing it up, yucking it up. We'd have never known until Pelosi, some say she was drunk, maybe she was, maybe she wasn't, but she did a 1.5 gainer down some stairs, broke her old hip, and all of a sudden it made it into the news, and they never wanted that in the news. They go to Europe to play, and they play together. How deep is this actually into the Republican Party? Why won't they go after Soros? We know he's a problem. Everyone complains. When do you hear Republicans in Congress complaining about Soros? We all do. Even right-wing media does. I don't hear Congress saying anything about this guy should be thrown out. We got to cancel his dual citizenship. This guy's got to be banned from doing business in America, just like he is in other countries. No, our uniparty won't do that. So how deep are these international powers actually into both parties? We know they've got more control inside the Democrat Party than the actual Democrat officials do, because the globalist agenda is being accomplished through the machine of the Democrat Party, when the Democrat Party machine can't help itself. My God, these people are good. The party's in shambles. The globalist agenda within the party is succeeding. Doesn't that tell you that the globalists don't give a rat's ass about the Democrat Party? They're letting it burn down. They don't care if it's burning down. That's what you got to realize. They know the Democrat Party's falling apart. They're not doing anything to save it, because they don't care, because they've got their hands on the strings that matter, and they're just using it. They're going to use it, and they're going to throw it away just like they've done with everything else. We've got a big problem in this country, and we're seeing it play out. Another thing they're doing is upsetting these, besides, they've got a website now where you can dox Tesla owners. You can go in there and find the addresses, and you can go attack them. This is to make America ungovernable. It's to cause chaos in the society, another level of it. Republican congressmen cannot even go home now and talk to their own constituents in town halls, because the globalists have their activists show up and pack the place. Through the Democrat Party machine, they're sending these orders down. I mean, hell, the people running the Democrat Party now, we see who they are. You know, it's in disarray. They aren't smart enough to do all this, for God's sakes, no. This is coming from the people behind them that have taken over the party and don't give a shit about the party. But Republican representatives cannot have a town hall. The process of democracy and representation is being disrupted because the globalists don't want our system to work. They want the system to fail because of chaos, because of turmoil. So like Abraham Lincoln said, it has been the history of democracy to die by faction. Well, democracy is a loose term, but we've got a representative republic based on the selection of representation through a democratic process, and that's what they're trying. They're trying to make it so America doesn't work. They're trying to make it so Europe doesn't work. Not with the governments we've got. If it's a total mess, people will say we need something else. The system's failed. We can't let that happen. So now you know what they don't say. They don't say it's not the Democrats, it's not the Labour Party of Britain, it's not the Socialist Party of Germany. It's the global progressive socialist powers behind that. These people are making their power plays. It's make or break. We're going to get into this some more in ensuing episodes. There's a lot to digest with this right now. We got a lot more to talk about. Stick with us. I hope you like this. You know, click the little thumbs up, because when you're in this business, and we just moved everything to this platform now, this new channel, we need the likes, we need the subscriptions. Please share it. We welcome comments. I want to know what people want to hear about, what they want the deep dives into, because there's a lot of information out there. You don't know what you can trust. We've got people, trust me, we can get to the bottom of it. We can get through the bullshit, okay? And we're not going to do it with the Republican spin, with the Democrat spin. No, we're just going to tell it like it is. Because there aren't any real good guys in this game. There's some select few people in the Republican Party doing a good thing now, but if you notice, a couple of them are even Democrats. It's not what it appears to be. Remember, the Republican Party tried to keep Trump out. So tell us, feel free to comment. We want your input. What do you want to hear about? What do you think about what we're already talking about? What are your thoughts on this? It's not the Democrat Party. Media is telling us it is. So I hope you like. I hope you subscribe. There's another episode just about ready to come out behind this one. This is a lot of work, but we're getting there. This needs to be done. So give us your thoughts. And remember, when you're done, God bless America. We all need it.